All right, what's up, you guys? This is going to be a different video today. I want to talk about a topic that is in my new book slash guided journal. If you guys don't know, I recently just created this book slash guided journal for day traders who need like a mental reset or just need help with their trading psychology. So, yeah, here's the cover. Here's the side, which is one of my favorite. The whole book is my favorite part. Like, what? The back is my favorite part as well. It has this here, which is part of my YouTube banner. If you don't know, there's my YouTube channel. It's basically just me attracting money. I used to have one that was chasing the bag, but I was like, whoa, I can't be chasing because you guys know what chasing leads to. Anyways, that's a good topic because that's what's going to be. What we're talking about today is detachment. Um, which is actually day 10. This does not come with the book. It's just a piece of paper that I just folded up. And I drew this design because it's part of the book. Let me show you really quick. The first page has that design. I know it's completely random that I'm talking about it, but I don't know why. I just like this pattern. Let me pull it up. It's also in the back as well. And also, if you think it's a little bit see through, it is because I had the choice to either get uncoated paper or coated. And I was like, well, since people are going to be writing on it, let me get it uncoated. So if you see a little bit, transparency or like you see the next page, that's why. Okay, it's because the pages are uncoated. But, anyways, this is day 10. The topic of day 10 is detachment from the outcome. Okay. Also, each day comes with like a morning journal with again, each day is like a challenge, right? So each day I ask you to meditate, pray, journal, give some gratitude, set intentions for the day, and then do like a to-do list. So every day has a morning journal. All of the days have some reading, which today I'm going to read the reading, and then also every day has a note to self at the end of the day, and of course some journal prompts. But for today, I want to chat about detachment from the outcome. Okay, so let's just read it together and then we'll chat about it. So detach or be controlled, right? You don't control the market, you control how you show up to it. Right, the second you start obsessing over whether a trade works or fails, you've already given your power away. The fear shows up when you need to trade to win, or when you just need any trade to win. Whenever you feel like you need something in trading, that's when you need to stop, right? I mean, just like with anything in life, if you actually feel like you need this, I need it, da da da, for some reason it doesn't work out how you want it to. It's just like when you chase someone, they're probably gonna run away from you. It's the same concept, right? So greed shows up when you need to prove something, right? And I'm going to talk more about this part later on. But detachment doesn't mean you stop caring, right? It means you stop clinging onto it. It's the mindset that says, my job is execution, the outcome will take care of itself. So when you attach to results, you react. Okay, right? So if you attach to getting, let's just say, a payout, since we're talking about trading, let's just say you attach to getting a payout. Every time you take a losing trade, you're going to end up reacting to that, right? And you're not going to react in a good way because you want it so bad, right? So when you focus on your process instead of your results, you just respond, right? So if I'm focused on the process of trading, on the process of getting this payout, when I do take a losing trade, I'm just going to respond to it, right? How do I respond to a losing trade? Either I wait for a better setup or I just simply walk away. Process, right? I focus on the process. And also, each of these chapters, everything that's in this journal, I wanted to make sure that it was backed up by science, right? So, a lot of this journal is like very just nerdy, very scientific, because I wanted to make sure it's not just stuff that I'm blabbing out. I wanted to make sure that it's proven scientifically, right? Because science does not lie. Anyways, let's talk about the science of letting go. Your brain hates uncertainty because it's wired to seek control. The moment you place a trade, the brain's amygdala, your emotional alarm system, lights up, scanning for threat or reward. Cortisol rises, which, if you don't know, cortisol is just a stress hormone basically. And then adrenaline pumps, logic fades. And I also wanted to chat about how your brain hates uncertainty and is wired to seek control. Because if you're like me, you seek control not everywhere, but you like to know what's going to happen, right? Like for me, if I'm going on vacation or if I'm going somewhere, I need to know what's going to happen next, right? If we're out of the country and we're on vacation, what are we doing today, right? Or even just a day to day normal life, I'm like, what's for dinner? What are we doing today? I love just knowing what's going to happen next. Why? Because I hate uncertainty. And a lot of us are probably just like that. Um, so if you're like this, just keep that in mind, right? But anyways, when you train your brain for detachment, you shift control from the amygdala to the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for planning, focus, and rational decision making. Which I actually mentioned the prefrontal cortex a lot in the video because why? It's it's its job to focus on planning, focus, and it's his job to focus on making important decisions. So when you're trading, you're making very important decisions, and the part of your brain that is mostly in charge of that is your prefrontal cortex. So spoiler alert, a lot of this journal talks about it. And in the beginning, I actually tell traders that if you're going to do this mindset challenge for 21 days, a lot of the things that I tell you to do, like I say, fast, meditate, pray, journal, move your body, a lot of these things is for you to optimize your prefrontal cortex, right? A lot, especially meditation. Um, but anyways, that's the zone where consistency lives, right? If your prefrontal cortex is in charge of rational decision making, that's also the zone where consistency lives. Okay, the concept of detachment isn't new; it's actually ancient, right? Even Buddha, right here, he taught that peace comes when you release your need to control what's outside of you. And mind you, he taught this not related to trading. This is just related to actual real life, right? Let's read that again. He taught that peace comes from when you release your need to control what's outside of you. The markets is no different. The moment you accept uncertainty instead of fighting it, your mind quiets and your execution sharpens, which is what you need for trading. And also think about it too. Think about your experience with trading. Every time you've been chasing a certain payout, you've been chasing a certain number, it always comes back to bite you, right? And it's most likely because your mind isn't quiet, right? It's not actually focused on the process. It's just focused on right now because you need the payout, right? So elite performers also know this, right? Whether it's an athlete taking a shot or a trader entering a position, they anchor to process goals, the controllable actions that builds long-term success instead of emotional results. So think about if an athlete is just let's just think about athletes in general, right? Let's talk about LeBron James. Um he's an athlete that is not just focused on winning the championships. He's focused every single day on the process it takes to get him there. He trains every single day. He practices his shot every single day. Why? Because that's something he can control. He can't control if he's going to win the championship, right? But he could control his process goals, right? He could control how he could get there. Is the same thing with trading. You can't control if you're gonna make the next shot, right? Or if you're going to um win the next trade. You can't control that. But what you can control is if long term I control my ability to focus my plan and actually follow through with it, I can most likely get the outcome, which is most likely a payout. So I put a little picture here of a guy just letting go of a balloon, right? And then I put Buddha, a little loaf here. Loaf. It's a flower, my bad. I think it's a I forgot the name. It's a very specific flower. I forgot the name. Anyways, next page. Um, it talks about why detachment. Damn, can you guys see that? Okay, hopefully you can see that. Maybe not. Let me see. Okay, maybe you can see it. Boom, right there. Let's talk about why detachment builds discipline. Because I feel like with trading, we always hear that like you need discipline in order to achieve. Not just in trade, we hear it everywhere. Discipline, discipline, discipline. So why does detachment build discipline? Okay, so trading without attachment isn't weakness; it's composure. Which this is key because you're actually gonna need a lot of composure when you're trading, especially when you lose a trade, especially when things don't go your way, right? And this allows you to hold through the noise, exit when your rules tell you to, and move on without drama. Detachment builds emotional distance between you and the outcome. So if detachment builds discipline, if detachment builds distance between you and the outcome, that means you're detaching from the outcome, right? It's a gap wide enough for logic to live, which if you've gone downhill and you've tilted, you know that while you're on tilt, you're going buy, sell, buy, sell. You're not even thinking, right? Like logic literally leaves the room. So you need this. You need logic to live in your brain, okay? Especially when things don't go your way. But in that space, you can think clearly, follow your plan, and protect your capital. Detachment in practice. Start catching yourself when you feel the need to win. Like I said, whenever you need something, it's just not gonna happen in trading. Okay, so whenever you feel the need to win, or whenever you think, I need to make this back, just pause and take one breath and remind yourself this right here. My edge plays out over time, not just in one trade. Read it again for yourself. My edge plays out over time, not in just one trade, which I think we all know, right? But when we lose, we kind of forget about that in the moment. So just remind yourself, I need to be focused long term. I need to be focused on my edge playing out over time, not just today. And then when you truly believe that, you stop forcing setups, you stop reacting to P&L, you trade with patience because your confidence comes from repetition, not results. Detachment turns trading into mastery. You become the calm in the chaos. And this is key as well because when the markets are very volatile, the ones that lose the money are the ones that are riding with the chaos, right? The ones that want to catch every single move. But the ones that really succeed in a volatile market are the calm people. Trust me. And the one who no longer needs control because you've already found it within. Also, key reminder, the goal isn't to eliminate emotions, it's to stop letting it drive, right? Like, we're not robots, we're all human. So, don't just try to become a robot, just try to stop letting it control you, okay? Now, I feel like there's two types of traders you could be, right? Of course, it's your choice. So, let's talk about an outcome focused trader, which is to me is also a short-term focused trader, right? Like you're not focused on the whole year. You're focused on just today. So for me, this is also a short term focused trader. But anyways, an outcome focused trader is a person that trades to win or feel validated. You're obsessed with P&Ls and results. You need to be right. These traders also react emotionally to every single tick or every point. Every single move the market makes, an outcome focused trader is just reacting to it immediately, right? Just like I said back here, like when you're not calm in the chaos, every single move you're gonna want to catch it. And again, you're only gonna want to catch it if you're focused short term. Anyways, an outcome focused trader also takes losses personally. They feel pressure to prove something. And I feel like honestly, a lot of us are focused, or sorry, a lot of us feel pressure to prove something, right? Like a lot of us feel pressure to prove it to, I don't know, either our parents or I don't know, your girlfriend, boyfriend, someone close to you. I feel like we all have that pressure to prove something to someone, which sucks, right? But I feel like this is completely normal. Even me to this day, like I have the pressure to prove it to, me and my girlfriend that I can be a millionaire. I don't know, but I think the best way to get over this is just by not ignoring the pressure, but kind of being aware of it and living with it. Yes, I'm aware I have a lot of pressure, but I'm also aware that I have that pressure and I don't have to force anything because of it. Okay, but an outcome focused trader also chases setups to make it back. Once your brain says, I need to make this back right now, that's when you need to stop. Like, I've spoken to many, many traders, and it always starts by them saying, "Oh, like I was in this trade, I lost it, like I need to make it back." Even me, whenever I crash out or when I used to crash out a lot, blow accounts a lot, it always almost started with me saying, "I need to make that loss back right now." Bro, whenever you say I need to make it back right now, that's when you need to chill out. Stop. Stop. Because most likely if you say I need to make it back right now, the next setup you take is not going to be an actual setup. It's most likely going to be an emotional trade, which you should try to avoid. An outcome focused trader also judges success by just today's outcome. Again, short term. Now let's focus on a process focused trader, which to me is also a long term focused trader. So, a process focused trader tries to execute their edge. They're obsessed with consistency and their rules. They aim to make the right decision. And the right decision doesn't always mean going in the right decision of the market. It doesn't always mean winning the trade. The right decision really means, am I focused on my rules, right? Am I executing my edge? That's the right decision because that's what you can actually control is your edge and you following your rules. Another process focused oh my god, I'm stuttering. I'm talking too much. Another thing a process focused trader does is they respond logically to market structure and they see losses as feedback, right? They don't just take losses personally, they see losses as feedback. So I remember when I was losing a lot of money, whenever I took a loss, I'd just be upset. Damn, I was wrong. But now when I take losses, I journal it and I try to learn from it. What could I have done differently here? Right? What could I have done to not avoid this, but maybe do it better next time? Right? I take losses as feedback. A process focused trader also trade with patience and trust in themselves and in their edge. They're not just trusting that they're going to win today. They're trusting that long term, if they follow their edge, they're going to see some type of success. A process focused trader also waits for A plus setups only. And when I say A plus setups, it's not just one type of setup. An A plus setup to you could be just a setup that gives you so much conviction, or that you have many confluences for. And is I feel like an A plus setup is a setup that you've seen before. You know, it's a setup that you have trust in. And then of course a process focused trader judges success by long term discipline, which again, I feel like if you focused long term and not just on today, that you could see more success again, long term. um, and both of these traders live inside of you, but the one you feed with attention is the one that grows. So feed patience, feed process, feed this side of the chart. Okay. If you take a loss, again, don't take it personally. Just see it as feedback. Okay. Feed the trader that you want to become. Also, since this is like a guided journal, I did write some journal prompts. So down here I said which side of the chart did I trade from today, or maybe the past week. What would my results and my piece look like if I fully trusted the process? If you fully trusted the process instead of the outcome. Ask yourself that. And then back here, of course, I have some journal prompts, which I'm actually going to share with you guys because even though you guys can't write on this, maybe you could talk to yourself and ask yourself these questions. First question I put here is, what would trading look like if I trusted that my edge would play out over time? And I feel like I'll answer this question for you. If your trading looked this way, it would look like a very subtle, and I'll write it down here, it would look something like this. You know, it'd be a very slow move up, or, something like this. Something like that. You know, it won't be a straight line up, but it'll have some pullbacks. That's how I feel like good trading looks like. Um, what does detachment look like for me in trading and in life? What happens when I attach to results? Most likely, what happens when you attach the results is you chase, and we all know what chasing leads to in trading. It leads to nothing good. If I took away the money, would I still love the process of trading? Why or why not? I think this is a really good question. I asked myself this and I was like, damn, that's a good question. I don't know. But I think I would still love the process of trading. I think I'm very passionate about it. Last question here is, what outcome am I most attached to right now? Winning, proving myself, or avoiding loss, or getting a payout. I should have added that here because I think a lot of us are really just attached to money. We really want payout. I think that's the root or the stem of a lot of issues. But for this journal, each chapter, the last page, I just give you some space to journal, write whatever you want, and then each different day has a different fun fact. So for this day, the fun fact was, studies in performance psychology show that people who focus on process goals, what they can control, experience 25 to 30 lower stress levels and sustain high performance longer than those fixated on results. Which to me, if you get a 25 to 30% increase on lowering your stress levels, I feel like that's a 30% increase on getting your payout, to be honest. But anyways, that was really it. I hope you guys enjoyed this chapter. I felt like it was good to talk about, especially coming into November. It's just a quick reminder to maybe stop chasing so much. Try to detach from the outcome and just focus more on your process and you following your edge. But, anyways, if you want this book, the link is below. I have a PDF version and this physical copy version. I love you guys and thank you for watching.